Star Wars Visions Season 3 is officially here. Now, as someone who loves anime and also loves Star Wars, it is my favorite franchise, even though it keeps burning me. The Hunt for Ben Solo, I really want. You hear me out, Disney. Make that movie. I promise you, Kylo Ren. I want to see that film, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Star Wars Visions Season 3, technically Volume 3. This is a series that I've really enjoyed the first two seasons. I thought the first season was pretty damn good and very entertaining to the point that I was just intrigued. There were a couple episodes in there where I was like, that deserves its own series in general. And then we got season 2, volume 2, and I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't blown away by it. I would say about 70% of those episodes I thought were pretty damn good, and then the rest were a little bit disappointing. And I'm very happy to say that I think volume 3 might be my favorite volume yet of them, but I will also go as far as say I've like been going back and forth. It's either my favorite or it's just tied for number 1 with the first volume, because I think it really much kind of goes and hinders back to what volume 1 did so well, while also giving some development to certain shorts that we had gotten in volume 1, giving sequels to those. And also, for people who don't know, the Ninth Jedi from season 1 and also coming back in season 2 or season 3 is also getting its own series next year, which I cannot wait for. I am so excited for the Ninth Jedi. I think that is like, spoiler alert, it's my favorite thing in all the Vision stuff. It feels totally like Studio Ghibli, and it makes me so excited for that. So, without further ado, you guys know what this is. It's a bunch of different animation studios touching in on Star Wars properties. None of it's canon. It's its own world. It's its own thing, and that's fun. That's fun. It's kind of like the what if for Star Wars, I guess. And I would actually really love to see a Visions telling of Marvel Studios. I think that would be a lot of fun. So, without further ado, make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, comment down below your guys' thoughts. And without further ado, I keep saying that, let's get into this. So, how I'm going to review this is I'm basically going to go episode by episode, give a little bit of my thoughts. They might be a little bit vague, but my overall arching for Star Wars Visions is the animation is stunning in every single one of these episodes. I'm not just going to sit there and say it for each one. Every episode's very different in terms of what it's trying to do, in terms of what it's trying to say, and in terms of the visual flair of it. That is the point of this, is to see that visual flair and the different stories without being tied to canon. And I would say, like, even when you get to like the final episode of this, which I think was called like Black or something, very, very visually stunning. Not going to be everyone's favorite, but for me, I was like in a psychedelic trance during this entire episode. But that's just to go as far to say is like every episode, like obviously the Duel is a sequel to the Duel in the first one, which was a phenomenal episode, and I love that. But that animation is so different to the Ninth Jedi. That the Ninth Jedi is so different to some of the others on here. There's one in particular that we'll get to on here that I was taken back by how beautiful it is. They very much kind of remind me, like, I guess if I was to compare it to an anime series, it was very much looking like Demon Slayer, but even more motion CG, but at the same time 2D. And I do not know how they did it. I don't know at all. But I love, love, love that so much. And those are the things that really intrigue this experience. And that's just one of the icebergs, the tip of it all. On top of that, as well as adding in, I love the score. The score for each and every one of these is just whimsical. It's magical. I found that this every single one of those, like the sound effects, are great. I think when it comes down to is, well, all that is quality. It comes down to the story, which is always going to be personal opinion since these are an anthology series. Some people are going to like some shorts more than I liked others, but that's just as far as say is that I did almost think possibly, I need to see the whole season one more time, is that this is the best season of Star Wars Visions yet. So, jumping into this now, episode 1. These might be a little bit of out of order of how they come for you guys. Sometimes this happens for Star Wars Visions as other out of order of when they come out. But the first episode was The Bounty Hunter. This is about a rogue bounty hunter who takes on a job of a shady industrialist that has unexpected consequences for her and her droid. I thought this episode was fun. It's a good episode. I love the bounty hunter, like the bounty hunter herself. I like the droid, and I like the world that it built up in. I think this is a lot of fun. It gave me kind of Cowboy Bebop type style humor and story to it. And sorry if I do compare a lot. I like to compare to anime series that I enjoy and watch just to kind of give a flair of the aspect of how I took it. But it very much felt like Cowboy Bebop. And I overall really enjoyed this one. I didn't have too many issues with it. And this is actually one of those that, like, anytime I watch these, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish we had more. This is another one of those where I was like, I wish this had its own series. I think that would be so cool. And also to put in there, like, you have all these studios, and I know like money is not endless at Lucasfilm and Disney, but like, if I were them, I would have at least an anime series, like a couple of anime series a year that are non-canon, that are fun. People love their anime. Let them get it. Next up, we have the Dual Payback, which was probably my favorite one of them all. Now, I love the Duel from the first volume. I thought it was fantastic in terms of animation, in terms of character, in terms of story, but I think this one just takes it up to a whole other notch. There's this unexpected ally that kind of has it happens in here, but for me, it's how they actually touch in onto the Jedi level of things. Now into this different interpretation of a galaxy far, far away. And the Jedi interpretation of this was terrifying, was horrific, was scary. And this twisted Jedi that they have adds to a lot of different personalities and a lot of different aspects that I was not expecting, was not waiting for. And when it happened, it was like, okay, this is sick. And then, of course, the lightsaber duels in here are off the walls, incredible in every single way. And for me, this just happens to be my favorite. It's everything that I want. In fact, I don't know if you can see, but I do have actually a dual Jedi down in that case at the bottom. I love that statue. I remember when Target released it, I went to like 3 different Targets to find it because you could not buy it online. I wanted it so bad. So we have the Song of Four Wings. A princess turned rebel protects a child from the Night of the Empire on a snowbound planet. Now, I like this one. But I didn't find it to be too memorable. I liked some of the action. I liked some of the storytelling, but that's about it. This one was one of those few that just weren't super memorable to me in terms of story, in terms of depth, in terms of like what it was trying to say. It just was an entertaining romp, and that one was about it. Then we get up to the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. This continues the story that we saw from Volume 1, and of course, it ends on a cliffhanger, waiting for us to get to the next series. I'm so happy that this is getting its own series. As I've said from the start, and as I said in the intro of this video, this is the one with the biggest potential out of every single Vision series to get its own show and to like give depth to that. And this, I literally cannot wait. Alone just in this, it's just more development on everything going on and just intrigues the world even more alongside its main character. And I'm gonna leave it there. Just enjoy it. I love this series and I love this episode and these characters alone. Up next, we have The Smuggler. This one was interesting. I definitely liked this one, but again, kind of felt like the same thing with Song of Four Wings. It was better than Song of Four Wings, but I felt, while cool ideas, cool concept, I felt like I needed a little bit more time to marinate a little bit. These episodes are about 12, 15 to 22 minutes apiece. And this is one of the ones that, while I feel like some of these could be a little bit longer, this is one of the ones that definitely felt that needed that length to extend in terms of what is going. It felt like it kind of set up what was going on and then like never really went into it anymore. Where like some of these episodes like pack so much into it. This is the one that, again, enjoyable, but didn't blow my mind away. And Yuko's Treasure, which at first, when I was about halfway through the episode, I was like, this is cute, but like, it's not for me. And there's always like those cute animal kind of like Star Wars adventures that we've gotten in Visions. And I will say, by the time you get to the end of Yuko's Treasure, it ends up being maybe the most emotional out of all the Star Wars Visions, and maybe even overall. I was actually taken back by how emotional I got towards the end of this episode, and I really ended up finding myself really loving this one. I think it's actually really adorable. I think it's fun. I think it's kind of like a nice introduction to Star Wars in terms of like the characters that they use and everything like that. Like, be something that is intriguing to them. All I know is that Yuko's Treasure, like I was at like a 3 out of 5 like overall, and then I ended up being like a 4 out of 5 because of the ending. I thought the ending was perfect, and for me, I can't wait. Maybe they'll touch on this one more. I don't think they will, but it was definitely adorable. Then we get into the next one, the Birds of Paradise. This is the one that I was talking about with the amazing, incredible animation. I think the animation in this one is probably the most stunning out of every single one of the Star Wars ones that I've talked about so far. And I think this is the one that rivals the Duel as possibly my favorite on here. This one is so intriguing with the setup, with the initial setup, with the lightsaber duels, but specifically what it ends up turning into and the twists and turns that it takes in its small runtime that all feel very much big and payoff. This is one that I was not expecting to love, but as it kicked off, it starts off strong and it emotionally drains you throughout it, especially with the spiritual journey that this main character goes through. When we get to the final one, Black, was definitely a psychedelic battle. Um, I there's a lot of depth in this one. And I think anything I might say might give away the idea of it. In the end, just go in. Definitely don't do drugs for this one because it's fucking crazy. And just like let it take you off into its world. It is so different. I see this probably being like almost everyone's least favorite, but for me, I really dug it. And just in terms of like what it visually can tell in terms of its story and barely any words. And it's sick. It's fucking sick. This is like part of the reason that you take this experimental type of stuff where it's so different to anything else you've seen, back it awesomely into a Star Wars type story. Again, I really enjoyed Black. I think it's awesome. I think it's very unique. And I think it's one of the coolest things about Star Wars Visions and what makes me surround Volume 3 with just saying it's awesome. It's great. Hope they continue to make more Visions series because I think Visions Season 3 just continues to show that there are a lot of great ideas. If for some reason it doesn't, I hope that they go to these studios and let them just craft a mini series of their own because I think that would be awesome to explore more into anime and mixed up with Star Wars because it's one of the coolest collaborations that you could possibly get. I'm still on the hindrance. I think Volume 3 is the best one yet. Like as I've kind of went through and like reiterated every single thing about each episode, I think I am lingering towards Volume 3 being my favorite one yet, and I hope it is for you guys as well. So with all that said, I'm going to give Star Wars Volume 3 a 4 out of 5. Once again, guys, for watching this, make sure to hit the like, subscribe button, comment down below your guys' thoughts, and of course, until next time, stay classy.